And seeing the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is believing. Yeah. If you see him, you believe. And when you see him, you believe then some. And if you see him, you believe what I'm saying right now, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That there's an increase, mashallah, tabarakallah, in the reality of your religion, in the reality of your humanity, just by virtue of gazing upon Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Define your religion by seeing him Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Define your religion by the desire to see him Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But then there are some and then there are then some. Like, what type of eyes do we have that we can gaze upon the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? What type of hearts do we have that we feel that we have the right to gaze upon Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Shuf al-kalam of al-Baqalani rahimahullah ta'ala, Abu Bakr al-Baqalani. Abu Bakr al-Baqalani speaks about the great teacher that he had, Abu al-Hasan al-Bahili rahimahullah ta'ala, the student of Ash'ari himself. And he said, Abu Hasan al-Bahili rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions that every single Jum'ah, we used to have a dars with the great Shaykh. Every Jum'ah, Baqalani says, we had a dars with al-Bahili on the Jum'ah. He said, I was in the dars, Ibn Furak was in the dars, Yani al-Asfara'ini is in the dars, the Shuyukh of Imam al-Qushayri, them Shuyukh of Imam al-Qushayri, they're inside of the dars. And when we would come into the dars of al-Bahili rahimahullah ta'ala, al-Bahili would have a sitar. He'd have a curtain. Like, can you see the sisters there? That they couldn't see their Shaykh. He put a curtain between them. The great Baqalani, yani. The great Abu al-Ishaq al-Isfara'ini. The great Abu Bakr ibn Furak radiallahu anhum wa ardahum, they didn't see their Shaykh. They couldn't tell you what their Shaykh looked like. One day they pluck up the courage and they say, Ya Shaykh, how come you don't allow us to see you? And he says, radiallahu anhu wa ardahum, you see you walk through the streets and all types of people see you. I see your eyes. You see all types of people. He said, those eyes don't gaze upon me. Don't gaze upon me, he said, radiallahu anhu warda. They said women of his household never saw him, radiallahu anhu warda. That's Bahili, the purity of Bahili. What about the purity of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? And why do we think that we have a divine right to see him Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with the filth that has gripped our heart and our heart has seen, with the filth that has gripped our eyes and that our eyes have seen? And there's a price that we must pay to see Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and which one of us is willing to pay that price? Seeing is believing, but seeing is also being likewise. And the seeing of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that is being Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because it's one thing for you to see him, but it's another thing for him to see you, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the eyes of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam are not ordinary eyes, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They are eyes that saw Allah. Those eyes that saw Allah. And why would the eyes that have seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gaze upon you and I? Why would those type of eyes gaze upon you and I? That's why the sirr of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his eyes, hakada. He doesn't lift his eyes, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Look at the shama'il of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yet we met people who said about them, Nadhiri fil Jannah. That if they gaze upon you, you are in Jannah. We met people like that in the Haram of Mecca. We met them. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And the first thing we saw in them, they do not look at you. They have a manner of their eyes. Because Allah Ta'ala gave them special eyes. And the special eyes that they have is earth. They're people from the blood of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so we want the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to gaze upon us with those blessed eyes. The eyes that gaze upon Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wa Ta'ala. The eyes that gaze upon Gabriel alayhi salam, Mikael alayhi salam, Israfil alayhi salam, Azrael alayhi salam. Gazes at the Malach. Those eyes, the eyes of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But alhamdulillah, 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 Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam bil mu'minin Ra'uf Rahim. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. That is our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. And so long as we are connected to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, like the likes of these gatherings that connects to the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, always live in hope. Not just that you will see him, but more importantly that he will see you sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for nadhra, for the gaze. The gaze of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, that we gaze upon him. Asa naraka ya Allah fi mir'ati ar-Rasul, in the hope that we see you ya Allah in the mirror of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, and on the basis of that ya Allah that he sees us. We ask Allah ta'ala for tawfiq.